One aspect of being a winner is knowing where to put your focus and knowing when something should end. That's a power move. All you need to do is to think about that one person you chased, right? That you're constantly going after, all the energy going at them, always stressed out about it, thinking about it, distracted by it. That is not a reciprocal relationship. That is an obsession that's unhealthy for you. You know when things are off. You know when you feel depleted. You know when you naturally click with somebody. That is data that matters. Letting go is a beginning. Letting go is about possibility. Letting go is about the magic that's ahead. It's about the future. Because you can take the actions that change anything.
2 obstacles, only 2 that you have. One is when you're discouraged. The second is when you doubt your capability. Just literally saying the way that my life is right now no longer works for me. We all have a fundamental need for control. See, what happens is when other people's behavior is annoying or bothers you or stresses you out or upsets you, it makes you feel out of control. You tend to then make this mistake when other people are upsetting you of controlling what they're doing. Like when somebody breaks up with you and then you're the loser that's trying to like control what happened, bring them back and like hang around and make yourself better looking so that they'll take you back. That's a form of control.
Maybe, sometimes, the purpose that some people play in your life is simply to teach you how to let go. When you catch yourself trying to control someone, and then you let go of the desire to change them, and you redirect all of that angst and energy toward caring, listening, supporting, creating this reciprocal exchange of allowing them to show up exactly as they are, you get connection back. Your attempt to control somebody blocks connection. It blocks the exchange between people.
What's happening out there doesn't have to control what's happening in here, that your power is in your attitude and your response to things.
Yes.
No response doesn't mean you're giving in. Choosing peace is not surrender. Choosing peace is a form of power and
Wow.
control.
Anytime you're complaining, that's right, complaining to yourself is a complete energy drain, period. Stop complaining about that job you don't like. Stop complaining about the traffic. Stop complaining about your partner. Stop complaining about your weight. Stop complaining about the things in your life. Because here's the truth. With a little bit of effort and a little better attitude and a little positive energy, you can frickin' change anything. Because you can take the actions that change anything. And so instead of about the job, get busy tomorrow morning and start looking for a new one. Instead of complaining that you don't have any friends, spend some time putting yourself in activities where you're going to meet new people. This is so important. Anywhere in your life where you are complaining, you are your own energy drain because you are pouring negative energy at something instead of redirecting that same effort and attitude into something positive.
Whether it's the shirts that you're making or it's the let them for realtors, let them for parents, let them for entrepreneurs. Because if you're going to build a business, you got to learn to let people not do business with you. You got to learn to let people not understand what you're doing. You got to learn to let your family have their opinions. Because your family doesn't understand the day-to-day pressures because they're not doing what we're doing. And the mistake that you make is you think you're the only one, and then you think your friends and your family understand. They're never going to understand. You actually think the other people that own restaurants or who are in real estate or other entrepreneurs that you're competing against them. Actually, they should be your best friends, and here's why. It's the people that you think you're competing against who will actually be your greatest allies and your biggest forms of support in the business that you're building. So seek them out, cheer for them when you see them winning. There's a reason why you see restaurants kind of on the same blocks. It's because when they put them on the same blocks, they actually all do better. Because people that go to restaurants like going to other restaurants. And so it's a mistake to think that if you're opening up a fitness club, that somehow the yoga studio down the street is somehow No. Because people get tired of yoga. And so if you're cheering for those guys and you show up at their grand opening and you're shouting them out on social, guess what they do? they do the same thing for you. And so seek out the people that are doing things that you admire. Cheer for them. Seek out people and support people that are doing the similar kinds of businesses, because you're going to find you have so much more in common.
Yeah.
And people are more interested in helping you than you think. 2 obstacles, only 2 that you have. One is when you're discouraged. The second is when you doubt your capability. And the only reason why I think you doubt your capability is because you're too concerned about what other people are going to think about it. That's the biggest source of your doubt, and you don't even realize it. If you are procrastinating more than ever, if you feel on edge, if you feel more irritable, if you are struggling to focus more than ever, the issue is that your stress response is running you. A lot of this is driven by your nervous system. There are so many things you can do to program your nervous system. Vagus nerve runs from your seat, through your major organs, through your vocal cord, all the way to the top of your head. This is the on-off switch for your nervous system. It's how you switch between the blinking light to turn it down a little bit, and now everything's steady. And there's a bazillion things you can do. You can hum, and your vocal cords are vibrating. It's actually what they call toning the vagus nerve. Cold plunging is a way to tone the vagus nerve. And cold plunging also works because you are putting yourself in a setting, whether you're in the shower or the bathtub or the ice bath, where all of a sudden the lights start to blink. You get in that cold water, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then as you breathe, you're hitting that dimmer switch and you're bringing it down. You need to say, I don't want my life to feel like this. And you could insert, I don't want my job to feel like this. I don't want my body to feel like this when I wake up. I don't want my relationships to feel like this. Just literally saying, the way that my life is right now no longer works for me.
We all have a pair of pants that we're holding on to from high school or before we were pregnant or whenever that we can't freaking fit into. When you stare at those things, you're reminded that you can't fit in them. When you try to wiggle them on, especially after a shower, you feel terrible about yourself. That is something that is an example. You need to let go of that. That job that you walk into where there is a pit in your stomach and you gripe about it to your friends and you spend all this energy pouring into why you hate it and resist it, you need to find another job. Donate the pants for sure. Start redirecting your energy from complaining about your job to directing energy to looking for a new one. I mean, just imagine, do you know how much energy and time and effort you waste focusing on resistance and complaining? What if you stopped complaining? Because that's negative energy pouring out, and you directed that same effort towards something positive, like fixing it or letting it go and creating something new that makes you feel good. So when you have things that are for sure 100% zapping your energy, or you find yourself complaining, griping, resisting, let go. If you can't quit your job, for example, because you need to pay the bills, no problem. Instead of complaining, instead of feeling resistance, spend 30 minutes every morning before you go to work looking for a new one. Or spend 30 minutes every morning pouring positive energy into a hobby or a project or a side hustle that brings you positive energy. And when you start to do that, you start to lift yourself up because you are now getting this reciprocal exchange by pouring energy and attention into something new and something positive. And that's going to lift you up. And by the way, that will also change your experience of that current job that you hate. But when you're in it, that negativity vortex can keep you spinning and stuck. You convince yourself, but I need the money, but I can't do this, but I don't have it. Do not waste a year of your life spinning in that negativity energy vortex. Your body knows. Your spirit knows. Get rid of those pants. Push that project to the side that you don't feel inspired to work on anymore. Let it go because it is sucking your vitality dry. That's why these situations of the pants that don't fit and the friend that's engaging in toxic behavior, or the job that sucks your soul dry, there is nothing that you're getting in return. Nothing. In fact, what you're getting in return is more negativity. Those jeans in your closet make you feel bad about yourself. It's bringing you negative energy. That job that you're complaining about, that you go to day to day, convincing yourself you can't leave, you can't find some la da 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 da, it's bringing negative energy into your life. And so these situations are super easy to spot because there's no reciprocal value to the relationship. You have natural intelligence inside of you, that you have instincts, you have hard wiring. Your gut is trying to tell you something, and one of the fastest ways to read that natural intelligence is to pay attention to your energy. You know when things are off. You know when you feel depleted. You know when you naturally click with somebody. That is data that matters because it's data that helps you make the changes, the small changes that improve your life. All you need to do is to think about that one person you chased, right? That you're constantly going after, all the energy going at them. And yeah, maybe you got an orgasm back, but then mostly you got negativity because you're constantly insecure, constantly worried, no idea where you stood, always stressed out about it, thinking about it, distracted by it. That is not a reciprocal relationship. That is an obsession that's unhealthy for you. There are things in life that are really hard, that take a lot of energy. Things that I hate doing, things like exercise. I hate exercising. I hate getting out of bed. But once you get the activation energy and you do the thing, you get a reciprocal return of positive energy. You feel great about yourself. The same thing's true about my husband who doesn't drink right now. It takes a lot of effort. At least it did in the beginning. And it was really hard because he had been drinking for a long time. But even though it's hard, it's so worth it. Why? Because there is this reciprocal return. You start to feel so good about yourself. You sleep better at night. You have clarity, you have pride. You're aligned with your values. And that values word is really important because when it becomes even more nuanced, your values is how you're going to create a return of energy in really hard situations. Any one of you who is caring for an aging parent knows how difficult that is. Any one of you that has a child or a partner who is struggling with mental health issues knows how difficult that is. You also know that you are pouring your energy into caring for this person. And it can be very depleting because the person that is sick or the person that's struggling doesn't often give back what you're pouring in. It also may be physically demanding because you're working all the time, plus you're doing this at night, and so you are tired. It's a fact. So how in those situations do you create this exchange of energy? The secret is values. Tap into your values in order to create positive energy back and to help you rise above the day-to-day stresses that are temporary. Because the truth is, if you tap into your values, it makes you feel like an amazing human being, knowing that you are there for your mom. It makes you feel like a good person, knowing that you are a compassionate caregiver that is helping your child or your partner through a really difficult chapter. When you start to feel depleted, remind yourself, lift your gaze, raise your gaze, and look out to the future and feel proud of yourself for acting in alignment with the kind of person you know yourself to be, even though it's hard. That's how you create a positive energy return for yourself in those situations where somebody either doesn't have it to give back or the situation itself is really physically demanding. And so you have within you the ability to do things that feel hard, like exercising or stopping drinking or staying sober or changing your habits or making cold calls. You can do those things that feel difficult. And trust me, you're going to feel proud of yourself, which is why they return on the investment of effort. And you can do things that are draining. And I promise you, They will come back to you with energy because it makes you feel good about yourself. And I bet you can think of 4 or 5 things that you're doing right now that are hard that you're not even giving yourself credit for. You should be proud of yourself because you're a good person. You keep showing up. And that is something you need to celebrate. That's something that you need to feel energized about. And in those times when it gets really hard, remind yourself, this too shall pass. That what goes up also comes down. That this is a season of your life. And holding on to what doesn't serve you is going to drain you. It's going to kill off your happiness. But finding ways to bring energy back in those situations that are aligned with your values and what you want, that's a power move. That is positive. And what do you get back? You get back all kinds of positive energy in return.